Good morning, Singapore. This side Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer of Treasury Consulting and also a venture capitalist. Today, we are going to shoot about a very dedicated topic which is on the rented accounts. Now, yesterday, as you understand that Treasury Consulting is a leading player in the private placement program and we have our own desk, but that is not open for everybody. And we don't talk with brokers, we talk with principals directly. That is also our clear principle. Some people might take it another way, that is their problem, not my problem. Now the question is that today I got an email from somebody without quoting the name from India, because a lot of people tell that private placement is fraud. I am saying yes, it is not fraud, but the people in this are fraud. So let's deviate this video for 1 minute. ILFS, Infrastructure Leasing and Financial Services, who owns debt closer to 72,000 odd crores, what media is saying, are they not fraud? Videocon, who were ready to file for 90,000 crore rupees of bankruptcy in India, the largest bankruptcies in the history of India and amongst largest in the globe. Is that not fraud? So there are people in the system are fraud. System is not fraud. We need to appreciate that. Yesterday I got to know something which is rented accounts. I know what is rented account, but the way the transaction was provided to me, I read this transaction for 15 minutes and I got to know something that there is something mischievous which is happening in the system. It's all about rented account. What exactly is rented account? Now, rented account means, let me give you an example. I am having an investor whose CTF or AML is not clear. AML stands for anti-money laundering, CTF stands for counter-terrorism financing. I repeat, I am having an investor without quoting the name whose AML, anti-money laundering and CTF, counter-terrorism financing is not clear. They are the one who are not clear, they do have the red flags. They have approximately $10 billion of money which they wanted to hide. In such a way no one would get to know. Although we have multiple I would be saying we do have multiple schemes, or we have multiple safe havens in this globe, like we have Isle of Man, we have Western African, we have Cambodia, and there are multiple to an extent, and where we can do the money. But how people are structuring this now? How people are structuring, they will need an investor. Now, I don't want you to quote the name of that investor in the public domain, but assuming this investor is amongst the biggest hedge funds. Now, who are the hedge funds? Vanguard, PIMCO, and the list is long. I'm not saying they are doing it just for the sake of example. I again say they are not doing it for the sake of example. So you are having an investor. I give a ambiguous name, Mr. Bobby. Ambiguous name is Mr. Bobby. Mr. Bobby, AML, anti-money laundering and CTF, counter-terrorism financing is not clear. It is a red flag. Mr. Bobby wanted to spare his $10 billion, or he wanted to convert the black money into the white money. He will look an investor who can back it. Now that investor will generally be a hedge fund. It would be the big mutual funds, or it would be the DFIs, financial institution. Now it could be, it might be some government people also, in some cases, without quoting the name. Those who are sitting in a very senior position, but they are involved in such kind of transactions. What they do, if they go to the hedge funds maintain very cordial relationship with three people. One is custodians like State Street, BNY, DBS, Citi, Standard Chartered, UBS, BNP Paribas, Standard Chartered Bank, and almost everyone, HSBC, JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, almost everyone. Then they maintain very good relationship with CCPs, Central Clearing Counterparty. Central Clearing Counterparty covers your SGX, your LCH, your CNS, your Hong Kong Clearing, and then they maintain relationship with CSDs, Central Security Depositories. They are limited in nature, example DTCC, example Euroclear Crest and Brussels and more. Now what they do, they will create a structure in such a way whereby $10 billion would be submitting in the name of a reputed hedge fund or a mutual fund. I don't want to give the name. So we would have one reputed mutual fund or a hedge fund who would be taking this $10 billion. It might possible they will take this in the form of tranches. That I'm sure, 110% sure. They will take into the form of tranches and they will take this money to the safe haven. This safe haven could be the Caribbean island, Isle of Man and another. Now this safe haven, now all hedge funds of the globe, in writing, all hedge funds of the globe are having one entity in tax havens. That is a different thing, that they never disclose this in the public domain. And most of the time regulators themselves do not know that these hedge funds maintain an entity in the safe havens. Now what happens, since they maintain in the safe havens, they will take this money as a trading. So if I am a trader, you know that lot of time since 2008 financial crisis, a lot of time hedge funds are also fined for violating anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing. This is nothing new in this globe. We all know it about. Since they take this money for trading, they will route this transaction to the safe haven. Now let's take an example. Safe haven is Mauritius, which is a well-known. Now from this safe haven, they will route this money to a custodian, and assuming this custodian is State Street. All the names quoted in this video is example. We are clearly saying it is an example. They are not doing that. It's only to make you understand. We are taking indemnification. It's pure example, nothing like it. We are not disrespecting any institute. We are mentioning just example. Let it be very clear. They will route it to a custodian, assuming it's a State Street. Now custodians generate two things. One, they take the money, and sometimes they take the money and create the credit lines. Now again, there are two kinds of credit line which these custodians are maintaining. One is the credit line via banks, what is their credit line. Generally the custody people create their credit line, then the bank credit line. But that doesn't mean they are not doing that part. So I would request you, without quoting the name of any custodian, you go to the top 10 custodians and download their annual report and see how they are maintaining the credit line. So situation is, I have an investor who is Mr. Bobby. His anti-money laundering and CTF is not clear. He will give the money to hedge fund. Hedge fund route this via a tax haven, which is Mauritius. Mauritius will invest the money directly to State Street. State Street will generate a credit line. That credit line will go to CCP, Central Clearing Counterparty. Assuming that Central Clearing Counterparty is the Hong Kong Clearing or LCH. Take two, it could be anything, just for the sake of name. That CCP will get a credit line. Now the credit line could either side, it could be buy or it could be sell. It cannot be both, or you can divide your credit line into two parts. It is either buy or sell, or maybe both. I, for the sake of my example, assume this is sell. CCP got the credit line which is sell. CCP is the person who have millions and millions of counterparties in their books. If today you go to SGX and ask for the counterparty, they will give you the list which you cannot think of. You go to LCH, you go to CLS, you go to Hong Kong Clearing. Boss, they have huge database in place. That counterparty list, you have at least one person in that counterparty who is ready to take the counter position against you. Now what is CCP? CCP is nothing. It's a postmaster. You have a buyer, you have a seller. CCP is in between. Once you have that, you are able to trade your money, and God willing, you are able to make a profit out of it. Before winding up this video, what is the result? The person, Mr. Bobby, we mentioned, having a red flag in AML, but he able to make his money white. The profit he is generating is white. Last but not the least, once they would be able to have that structure, the money they would be earning, that money could easily be routed through a CSD, Central Security Depository. So assuming I invested 1 billion, out of this 1 billion I made 10% profit, which is 1 billion I made 10% profit, which is 100 million. That 100 million I convert this into a security. What is that security? Any security. Prudential security, could be any Singaporean company, Singtel, Indian ADRs, GDRs, anything can happen. Where I am going to be securing, where I am going to be having that securities, CSD, Euroclear, DTCC. And what is this entire transaction is all about? Rented account. And who is the originator of the rented account? That hedge fund. You will never get to know that this hedge fund is able to do that level of transaction. Who are the players who involved in that? Hedge fund, hedge fund, custodian, CCP and CSD. Now I would like to pose one simple question before the end up of this video. We have multiple CCP in this globe. Exception is Singapore. It is highly managed and regulatorized. I repeat, exception is Singapore, highly managed and regulatorized. Apart from SGX, all other CCPs are not as good as we have SGX. So SGX is separate. Leave them apart. They are 100% clean, clear and everything. How many CCPs apart from SGX are doing this transaction? CSDs are only 2 or 3, which is DTCC and Euroclear. Are they not doing it? They are managing trillions of dollars of security. When was the last time they were audited independently? When was the last time they were audited functionally in that direction? And to wind up this video, I would like to post one simple question, two simple questions, very, very simple questions. Number one, is private placement a fraud, or the people in the private placement, they are fraud? Question number two, when this world would be open his eyes and we're going to have an independent functional review of these CSDs / CCP? Or the third question, is the job of the regulator is merely done by putting a fine on these CCPs because they are doing the wrong transaction, and then thank you very much. With this, Treasury Consulting would like to thank you from Singapore. We are a private placement player. We would be private placement player. We continue to be private placement player because we strongly believe that it is not the fraud, but the people in this industry are fraud. It doesn't matter that few people who watch this video don't like it and they will press the negative, the downs hand on the YouTube. Do I care? Definitely not. It's the second largest YouTube channel, boss. Second largest YouTube channel. This is the 50th video of private placement program. 50. Can I have one YouTube channel who posts 50 videos only on one topic? And we know in and out of private placement, and more videos are coming. With this, Treasury Consulting would like to thank you very much. You know my mobile number 919899242978, and you know our fixed income platform www.fixedincome.global. But before winding this video, I would like to give one message from Singapore, my favorite country, that functionally knowing something is more important than knowing anything. And we know how CCP, CSDs work. Custodian is a very simple game for us. And God willing, 2024 is not far. Treasury Consulting soon be a custodian. Thank you.